School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Welcome to Deep South Dining right here on MPB Think Radio. Malcolm White, Carol Palmer, and the smooth and ever soulful Isaac Hayes from the 1969 Hot Buttered Soul LP.
Hot Buttered Soul.
Do you know why we listen to that, Carol?
I think because somebody that wrote it may have passed away this weekend.
No, I don't know who that would be.
Is this a guessing game?
It's a trick question. I chose the Hot Buttered Soul LP because January the 17th is Hot Buttered Rum Day.
Oh, my gosh, Malcolm.
There you go.
You got me.
I got you. Got you live and in person.
You know, when I saw that text of walk on by,
you're like, what?
I was going, what is Malcolm? What's he
thinking
this afternoon?
And it's a very mellow vibe.
Mellow.
And so we welcome everyone to MVP Think Radio, to Deep South Dining. Got a lot on our agenda here this afternoon.
We do indeed.
We've got
we
a lot of
have many
items.
mixed messages.
And we have guests in the second and third segments of today's show. We will have two guests. We will have Damien Cavicchi and Nicki Gatlin-Lovell from Campbell's Bakery and Hal Mal's. And the reason for these guests is because it is king cake season.
It is.
It's the beginning of Mardi Gras, and the king cake, is the cake of the season. And so we are going to feature throughout the season different king cakes. Today we're going to be talking about Campbell's king cake. And I think next week we're off. Next week we will not be here. January 19, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. MPB Think Radio will be celebrating the holiday by airing national programming, so we won't be here. But we'll be back on January 26th. And at that moment, we'll be talking about Robert St. John's.
Some loblolly king cakes. And we will also be talking to a member of the King Cake Mafia. You can find the King Cake Mafia on TikTok and Instagram. Can't talk about it
You're
before
not going to tell us any more than that? Okay.
No. Well, I mean, except, you can go out there and look. But there are these guys that travel around raiding king cakes.
Right. This is the King Cake Mafia.
Yes.
And they are housed somewhere down on
in Slidell.
Slidell.
In and around Slidell.
Okay.
But as usual, Malcolm, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today because we like to throw lots of things in the pot. And we're hoping not only to talk about king cakes, but air fryers on the side.
That's right. We're going to talk about
anything else.
That's anything else that comes up. But meanwhile, back in the studio here, Carol, active week for Cooking and Coping, our Facebook page. If you're not a member, please go take a peek and join us if you'd like to. It's just a a Facebook page about recipe swaps, about ideas for dinner. You know, here we are at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. People are driving home from work. They're picking up their kids from school. They're thinking about what's for dinner. And so we hope that as this show sort of settles into an afternoon show versus a morning show, where we spent some 6+ years in a morning show, that we'll be able to share recipes and notions and ideas. And Cooking and Coping, our Facebook page, is a great place for that. You know,
one thing that's so wonderful about it, I was checking it today, we have 8,600 members.
Wow.
Now.
We started with a handful.
We started with me, you, Leanne Galt, and Thomas Williams.
And look at us now.
Yes, and look at us now. But, you know, when people post what they do, it's not precious, and that's what I love about it. On some of these food sites, you know, the food is just so, you know, pristine, precious. Yeah. This is real food that real people are cooking, and they're real people like you.
Like me,
Malcolm
and you.
White, who this weekend made some delicious, I don't know if you said gumbo, I say soup.
Yeah. Well,
did you make a roux?
There's a roux in it, but not a lot. I kept it light and easy. I didn't make it a thick sort of traditional gumbo, but I used a bit of roux in there, yeah.
Yeah, the picture of the big pot on Cooking and Coping was great, but tell us what was in your...
Well, it's a chicken carcass soup, gumbo, whatever you want to call it. We buy rotisserie chickens at our house, and if you haven't done that and you're looking for a fairly easy way to create a multitude of meals, get yourself a rotisserie chicken. You can make chicken salad out of it. You can make a soup when you're done pecking on it and pulling on it. You can make sandwiches out of it and make great enchiladas. There's just a million uses for a rotisserie chicken. But don't throw away the carcass. Put it in a pot with some chicken stock. Bring it to a boil and pick it clean. Pick it clean. No skin, no bones, no gristle. Get it all out of there. And then add what you like. In my case, you know, I used andouille sausage, tasso, a bit of roux, as I said, rotel, a can of rotel, certainly the Trinity. There's okra. The Trinity being, of course, peppers, onions, and celery. And I just made a big pot of soup. It was huge when it was all said and done. And so I thought, well, I'll share some with John and Carol.
And so it was like Meals on Wheels. I go to my front porch, and there is a giant glass jar of soup. And for those who are watching us live, I brought this for you, not just so you could see the soup, but because Malcolm White is the only person I know who buys 66-ounce jars of pickles.
You got it.
I thought that was only for restaurants.
No, I am.
You are a pickle guy.
I'm a pickle guy. Grew up in the world's largest pickle factory town, Wiggins, Mississippi, and I have always loved pickles, and I buy them in large quantities. And it's interesting, my grandson, Wilder, loves pickle sandwiches, and he always comes to my house and he wants me to make him a pickle sandwich. A pickle sandwich, for those of you who are curious
and who are not from Wiggins,
it's 2 slices of bread or a bun. He changes it up. Sometimes he wants a bun, sometimes he wants sliced bread. Mayonnaise, cheese, turkey, and pickles. And that's a famous bop pickle sandwich.
Love it.
So
love it.
We keep lots of pickles at my house,
and
I
really
eat lots of pickles.
thought that jar was a lifetime supply of pickles, but when you think you go through...
That's about a month if I'm going slow, but we eat a lot of pickles at my house. So, and also on Cooking and Coping, Lee Bailey weighed in with, she grows things out there in the country.
Yes, she has salad days, grows all the wonderful hydroponic lettuces.
She's experimenting with these gigantic lemons. I can't wait to get my hands on.
Well, I looked at that. Somebody had gifted it to her, and it is called a Ponderosa lemon, probably because it's as big as the Ponderosa. And it is a cross between a citron and a pomelo.
I thought a citron was a car.
That's a Citroen.
Oh, Troin.
Troin.
Oh, my bad. sorry.
No,
I thought she grew that thing.
No, I think it was gifted, but I think she is. But stay with me here,
Okay,
Mal.
I'm with you. I'm not going anywhere.
The Ponderosa lemon, which it was the size like of a large honeydew melon, maybe.
It was big old
You know,
thing.
she showed it in perspective, but it was discovered in 1887 in Hagerstown, Maryland. It was a chance seedling, like two seeds just got
Blew
put
in
together
from Africa.
Yeah, but it was so fabulous that it was introduced as a nursery product, a nursery plant in the 1900s. But it has the same flavor and acidity as a real lemon and can be used like that. So we got to get on this trend, Malcolm.
I'm in. I love lemons. In fact, last night, Kara made a lovely dish. She made a one-pan dish of roasted vegetables with feta cheese, lemons, and the vegetables were carrots, zucchini, onion, broccolini, bunch of vegetables just on a pan with lemons and feta cheese in the oven. And then she took some chicken breasts that she had and marinated them in the feta brine and put them in on the pan and broiled them with the vegetables, and it was just a one sheet. It was delicious.
A sheet pan meal.
Absolutely. Terrific. Okay, in the news, Carol, if I might, it is crawfish season, and I got a report here. There's a lot of people who love the mud bugs. So
we are people of the mud.
We are,
yep.
And we'll be talking a lot about them. Not only is it Mardi Gras season, not only is it king cake season, it is also crawfish season. So the last few weeks, supply has been a little tight. That's mostly due to the holiday stretch and few fishermen out in the ponds trapping, not because of any major issues with the crop. In fact, the good news is we've had the cold fronts we needed, and we've gotten some solid rain, and now the weather is starting to warm up a bit. That combination is precisely what the season needs. So the prediction is for a bumper crop. From here on out, we should have crawfish whenever you are looking for them. Early season crawfish are known for some of the best peeling of the year. They are freshly molted, which makes them easier to peel. For a lot of people, this is their favorite time to order. But fear not, if you're holding out for the peak season, everything is lining up to be a great year. So expect a bunker crawfish season.
You know, Mal, I think it's only right that we should do a crop report every week.
Crop report. Well, we could.
You know, it's important. We've got to do the price per pound of crawfish, too.
Yeah,
as
I didn't
we
get
move
that.
into the season.
That's my bad.
Yeah,
I did not get that.
Hey, just another mention about cooking and coping.
Sure.
For all our friends out there, Leanne Galt changed the header on the Cooking and Coping website. It's brand new for the year.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, Leanne. Yeah. She's long been a disciple of great cooking. And
she's the goddess.
The goddess of certainly our world and our Facebook page, and we are grateful for her for doing that. Also, there was a Cooking and Coping post about grits. Someone was curious.
Yeah, somebody had had Grit Girl grits and was wanting to know how to track those down, and plenty of people told him, but they're from Oxford, Mississippi, and if you just Google up Grit Girl, you will find the website. They also have some other marvelous things like black-eyed pea grits and white rice grits. So there you go.
I love it.
Grit Girl.
Check it out. Carol, in case you didn't notice, January 17 is National Bootleggers Day, and I bring that up because growing up in North Mississippi, we had bootleggers, and that's where you procured your beer and spirits. Did you ever experience a bootlegger?
We had bootleggers. Drive across the bridge into Rankin County Saturday afternoon.
Marissa, have you experienced a bootlegger in your life?
I not personally, but I did grow up in a dry county, so I guarantee you they were about.
Yeah, you were just too small to venture into their world.
Yeah, and it's the day after National Fig Newton Day. So.
Fig Newton Day is January 16th.
Yeah, so it's two things to celebrate.
National Popcorn Day, January 19th. So just wanted to get those out there for those of you who are planning big celebrations. You don't want to miss these holidays that are coming up. Okay, here's what we're going to do, Carol. I was going to do a USDA update. There's a new dietary guidelines that have been issued by Secretary HHS Secretary Kennedy. He says real food is back, so we will see. These guidelines emphasize simple, flexible food rooted in nutrition, prioritizing protein in every meal, consuming full-fat dairy with no sugar added. He's sort of declaring.
It's kind of hard to talk about this when you have king cake sitting in front of you. And
I don't know. I can go both ways. But either way, the funniest thing about the report that I read about the new dietary guidelines was that Dr. Oz weighed in. Dr. Oz is in the administration. And he said that he could no longer recommend alcohol. The 2 glasses of wine a day, it's gone. No alcohol, abstinence is what Oz says. He says, but of course, people love to drink, and so we have to understand that people are going to drink. We just ask that they don't drink at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's the recommendation.
Yes, they removed the guidelines for alcohol. There is a little, politicization going on here. There's I know the beef lobby's happy, the beef and the alcohol lobbies.
Very happy. A lot of protein. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got 2 guests, and we're going to talk about king cakes and air fryers, maybe other things too. We've got Damien Cavicchi and Nicki Gatlin-Lovell, both of Campbell's Bakery, and Damien also of Hal Mal's. They're going to join us. We're going to begin this long conversation about the king cake. And so we'll be right back with that. If you want to join the conversation, we'd love to hear from you. It is, in fact, 1-877-672-7464, or you can shoot us an email to food@mpbonline.org. And if you're on your way home from work or picking up your kids from school and you're wanting to ask about tips for shopping and picking up dinner, Carol will be happy to share with you. Oh, yeah. We'll be right back after this short break.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you hated, go on about their business. Care of us.
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar is right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Welcome back to Deep South Dining here on MPB Think Radio. Malcolm White, Carol Palmer, and it's king cake season, and we're loaded up here on the desk. We've got more king cakes than you can shake a stick at.
You know, Mel, we were kind of texting the other day about king cakes, and we were saying king cakes or the new pumpkin spice, because they're everywhere.
They are everywhere.
It used to be that you could only find one or two, and now it's a thing.
Or you'd have to go to New Orleans or the coast, and now they're they're all over.
And some pretty fabulous.
Fabulous. All right, we got two guests. Damien Cavicchi is here, along with Nicki Gatlin-Lovell, both of Campbell's Bakery. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show.
Thank you.
Glad you're here. So you brought us some goodies here. Damien, would you or Nicki, either one, like to tell us what's before us here?
Nicki?
So we have our traditional cinnamon king cake, our cream cheese. We also do a little mini, it kind of looks like a little hamburger, which I think is the perfect balance of cream cheese. We have our traditional iced tea cakes that we're known for. That recipe has been around since 1962. And then we have some king cake macarons.
Wow. So these two king cakes are the same?
We have a cinnamon and we have cream cheese.
Oh, they're different. Okay. Yes. And Damien, the tea cakes, they've been, how long have you owned Campbell's?
November of 22.
Okay.
And Campbell's is it 62?
1962, yeah.
So that is just about the exact recipe. I mean, you never know with things like that because they've been handed down over the years. So I'm pretty sure it's the original recipe. But that is probably, that and the petit four are probably the top sellers consistently year after year. But so yeah, we have this available as soon as the carnival season hits, all the way through till the end of it. They've been a hit. They're just. I love the cream cheese one myself. I can't get enough of the cream cheese filling.
Is that this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow.
So I'm sure you had a lot of experimenting coming up with your exact king cake.
Well, I think it's getting the dough just right. I think Nicki and I talk a lot about things that we've done over the years, making sure that we can continue to look at it and refine it. And so, this dough is a brioche dough. And, the moisture, I think, is an important thing with the king cake and making sure that it's got the right balance of texture and richness, and that it's going to hold up, pretty well. If it's a day old, let's say, if it lasts that long. So far this year, we've been pretty much selling out daily. So everything that, we're doing is going out the door that day, which is great.
So do you put the baby on the inside or the outside?
It's on the inside.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
We get a lot of flack if it doesn't go inside the cake, and they have to place it themselves. So we make sure to put it inside, and it's labeled that it's inside.
Be careful.
Yes.
So how many of these are you making daily now, Nicki?
It depends on where we are in the season, because right now people are kind of willing to cheat on their New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
So I'm putting out about 10 a day, and then about a dozen or so minis in the case. And then as the season goes on and people start to kind of give up on their New Year's resolutions to eat better, we start selling 20 a day or so. And anything that does get left at the end of the day, I turn it into our bread pudding, which I also brought.
Oh, wow.
Is that what this is over here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So this is king cake bread pudding.
With a bourbon sauce.
With a bourbon sauce.
Oh, my gosh.
Carol,
I just wish we did know about that, Mal.
Well, we do. It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
Yeah,
So, Nicki, how did you get in the baking business?
I have wanted to be in the culinary field since I was a little kid. I would actually, when my sister was still asleep, I would go and sneak into her room and steal her Sony Cybershot and record myself doing little culinary shows.
Oh.
And in 2016, they opened the Jones Street location. I'm from Madison. And so I started working at Campbell's in 2016 and have been here on and off since then. I moved to Starkville at one point and then moved back. And Campbell's is just my home. I love the history. I love the people that I work with. I can't quit it.
Who owned it at that part? And it's
Mitchell Moore.
Mitchell, yeah. But what's the progression? Was it the Campbells? Then who? Then I know Ron Aldridge and his brother before.
Those are the ones that I know as well. Nicki might know.
I don't know who owned it between Lewis Campbell and Mitchell. I think when Mitchell bought it, he originally had a partner, and then I think the partner ended up backing out at some point. And I think Mitchell, other than Lewis Campbell, Mitchell Moore was the longest owner.
I think there have been, 6 or 7. I think we're like maybe the 6th or 7th one.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm glad Nicki could come because she's the one that gets into the bakery at 3:30 or earlier in the morning, during the season and gets all this going. Or during Christmas, which we just wrapped up, was, putting in some serious baker's hours and burning the midnight oil. So grateful.
Before we went on the air, I was telling Malcolm I wanted to ask you, what it's like to own a restaurant that's a legend and carry on the traditions. And you're talking about the petit four and this, that, and the other. And Malcolm reminded me that that's what you do. I mean, you are someone whose brand is taking iconic restaurants.
Yeah, y'all built a business model on that, you and Mary Sanders.
Well, and I think there's a story, too, in Jackson, because if you look at what's happening with, say, Walker's, Roosters, Fondren Public, of course, what we're doing, the Mayflower, there's kind of been this turnover of, these restaurants and bars, bakeries continuing, to move forward. With younger and newer owners, which I think is a great story and a great testament to how great these places are that they're able to be transferred and keep thriving.
Yeah, and of course, Chrishell's is in the process of closing. The family has decided, and who knows what other life it may have. May not have a life. May be very prosperous with new ownership. Yeah. But another opportunity for someone who wants to own and operate an iconic eatery. In South Jackson, West Jackson.
So how do you use the Campbell's products in everything else that you do?
I mean, across all the brands, we do a lot of catering and, events over at Hal Mal. So we have the assorted sweets display that we pretty much are just doing every single week. And it's just little bite-sized pizzas of the greatest hits items, from the Campbell's Bakery case. And it's rare to see a catering go out that doesn't have one on it. Nicki can tell you they just stack up. So you're talking about
Hal Mal's caterings have the Campbell
desserts,
as
an add-on, And so we do a lot of lunch catering and offices and hospitals and doctors and whatnot, and so it's a great touch, So that's been nice. Occasionally we'll do some wedding cakes. We don't get into like full scale, like 5-tier, monstrous ones, but I think around a 3-tier range. Nicki has done some. If you look at our social media page, the custom cakes have been just fantastic.
Well, Mal and I are both big fans of your birthday cakes, and last year on Malcolm's birthday we did one of your rainbow cakes.
You did that one, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you cut it. Is it 5 layers of color?
6, I believe.
It was beautiful and quite tasty, I must say.
But I asked Mary Sanders, Damien's wife, what kind of cake she envisioned for Malcolm, and that's what
she came up with.
That's what she came up
Lots
with.
of color.
Yeah.
We're also going to have these available at. You asked about crossover though, but the king cakes will be available at Hal Mal's for sale.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully starting this week.
Nicki will have to burn a little more midnight oil or a little early morning if you're going to supply 2 outlets.
I got bills to pay.
So you envision, for example, how many at Campbell's and how many at Hal Mal's on a typical day moving forward when you do launch into the second site?
Yeah.
I think last year you were taking about 6 to 8 a day over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the goal is just making them fresh every day and selling out.
Yeah. Otherwise, you got a lot of bread pudding on your hands.
Which is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing at Hal Mal's.
That sells out fast, too. It was a really big hit last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's a great idea to have them at Hal Mal's because a lot of your clientele are business people. That's easy shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it makes a great gift as well. But you asked about the baby on the inside. I remember I went to grade school in New Orleans, and I remember being in kindergarten and first grade, and we had king cake during season, and there was always a baby inside. And there's always this moment of the teacher saying, okay, here's heads up. you might choke, so just go slowly. But I remember I got the baby one year, and it was a big moment. And I didn't choke. So.
But did you host the next king cake party? Isn't that the tradition?
It's that, right? You have to,
you throw the next. Provide the king cake for next year or host a party.
Right, exactly. That's right. So where'd you grow up, Nicki?
I grew up in Madison.
In Madison, so you're local.
I am.
And where'd you go to school?
I, for the most part, Madison Station through Madison Central with a little Boston, Massachusetts, and a little Maine sprinkled in there. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Did you actually study cooking culinary, or has this just always been an aside that you were interested in?
Yeah, I did not. I wouldn't say that I'm formally trained. I didn't go to school for it. And fortunately, this is a field where if you're okay kind of doing the grunt work and working from the bottom up, you're good. And I've done that. I think I'm probably the only person we have on staff right now who has done everything from dishwashing to front of house to some management stuff to baking, decorating. I just kind of like throw on whatever hat is needed.
Right. You know, culinary schools are a fairly recent phenomenon. You know, since time began. I mean, especially in the early days, people were apprenticed. Children would start like Jacques Pepin at 13 or 14, and you would apprentice in a kitchen and learn all the stations, and that's how you learn to be a fine cook.
That's one of the things we try to do is as much as possible is be like an opportunity for ongoing learning. A few months ago, we were able to send Nicki down to New Orleans to La Boulangerie on Magazine Street.
Wow.
To work for a couple days over a weekend, and just to get the experience of working with laminated doughs. And what else did you guys do there?
A lot of bread. Yeah. That's what I would really love.
Now, you don't do bread at Campbell's now, do you?
We don't.
Yeah, but it could be a potential. Now, you have the other bake shop too, right?
So the basement, the La Brioche kitchen is currently kind of transforming into our vision for our commissary kitchen to do more volume for Campbell's. So that's our focus for Q1 of 26 is to really kind of fine tune that and get production up and see what else we can do to expand what we're offering. So.
Well, we talked a little bit about catering, and I know that's got to be a real revenue stream beyond the day-to-day operations of the retail shops of Hal Mal's and Campbell's. But you also do this paella thing, which I think is really interesting. Tell our listeners a little bit about that. And you do it as a catering, I think.
It started as a fundraiser, I think, for something that happened down in Louisiana many, many years ago when I was at the country club. And somehow I got interested in doing paella. I think because I got tired of grilling, so I needed a new form of outdoor cooking, and paella crossed my path. So I have a really big paella burner and also pan that I think is about 4 feet wide, which is one of the larger ones that I've seen, although I've seen other ones in pictures. Traditional dish that was the inspiration, I think, for jambalaya, where it's just rice and meat cooked together with a lot of saffron and spices, different variations of it. So we started doing paella on the patio in season when the weather's good, in the walk-in at Hal Mal's or just outside the patio there. And it's been a hit. Yeah, I don't think you see it very, very many places, especially around here. But it's very well attended, and I just have a lot of fun, cooking it.
I can't wait to come. I love paella, and it's hard. I mean, it is a hard thing to master as a home cook. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know you were doing this, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, there's a few moments where it's pretty easy, but there's a few moments where it could also go wrong.
Yeah, it's gone wrong on me.
The sucre was what they call it on the bottom, is where the rice starts to caramelize on the very bottom. And so those who know about that, they go right for it, wherever the hot spot was. And you get that crispy little slab that I really enjoy. But Mary Sanders got me for Christmas, actually. She got me a miniature paella pan that's, for the home stove. One year when we first met, I was cooking for her birthday, and I ran out of propane, so I brought the burner inside, put it on my stove, and this is the big 4-foot one, and then it was all ready, and I was taking it outside, and it wouldn't fit through the doorway, so we had to turn a full pan of paella on an angle to get it through the doorway, and it was this whole thing. So we have a lot of fun with it. And
so tell our listeners what is in the paella. First of all, imagine a giant outdoor gas burner. Mm-hmm. It's sort of a how would you describe the pan? Like a concaved.
Yeah, it's a little bit sunken in the center for sure. Traditionally it was cooked over wood, which I would love to figure out a way that I could get that set up for me to get that flavor. So we start out with browning. I like to do it with chicken and shrimp and mussels, and we start out with browning the chicken. I let it sit overnight with seasoning, and then once it's browned, we just build it with onions, peppers. I use serranos, lots of garlic, saffron, a tiny bit of tomato paste, chicken stock and white wine, and then we use a casparella rice, which is a short grain rice from Spain. Chicken's in there, rice is in there, let that simmer, and then slowly towards the end we add the seafood, so it all cooks, at the right rate of speed, and then add in peas, which I like for color, lots of herbs, and then we serve it with really good crusty bread. Usually try to get some bread from like Bread and Batter, who's over at the farmer's market and also helps us out with various things, and a good salad and maybe some churros. But it takes a pan this big takes about 45 minutes, and I've loaded it down heavy enough where it's taken longer than that too. So I've learned to start early because folks come hungry, so they kind of get a head start.
And by the time they watch it cook, they're about ready to gnaw the legs off of the burner.
They're a few drinks in, and they're watching is cool, but they're ready to eat.
Yeah. I've seen people stand around it and stare, like a dog waiting for food to be put in the bowl.
So this is advertised on Hal Mal's website.
It is
Facebook.
On both, on Facebook, the website, and Instagram. And you can also email us through the website to be added to the email list. It's a weekly e-blast that tells you everything that's going on, which is always a lot.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back with more from Chef Damien and Nicki from Campbell's Bakery. We want to talk a little bit in this last segment about air fryers, and I know that's a weird sort of segue. But Damien was on the show some time back, and we got into talking about air fryers, and he has since purchased one and has been experimenting with it, and he's going to report out on what he has learned about the air fryer. And a lot of our listeners ask about air fryers.
Yeah. And I took one for our team and bought one.
You bought one.
And I've done a little bit, so we're eager to hear this.
Okay. Well, we'll be right back with more Deep South Dining here on MPB Think Radio. If you want to join the conversation, we'd love to hear from you. You want to talk about king cakes, you want to talk about air fryers, whatever you might want to talk about. Or paella. 1-877-672-7464, or shoot us an email to food@mpbonline.org. We'll be right back with more Deep South Dining.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Welcome back to Deep South Dining. Malcolm White, Carol Palmer, and our special guest today, Damien Cavicchi and Nicki Gatlin-Lovell from Campbell's Bakery, Hal Mal's, The Walk-In, and what else, Damien?
Yeah,
did I get it?
Yeah,
okay.
It's enough.
Well,
he makes us tired.
He's got a lot going on, and he also is the Jackson Paella King, and he's got a hat that he wears when he cooks the paella too, Carol.
I got that hat for $8 about 4 summers ago, and I don't know how it still hasn't fallen apart.
He always wears a certain hat when he cooks the paella.
I like that, Mal.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So we're going to get to air fryer here in a minute, but before we do, I wanted to ask Nicki a little bit about the some of the items, the specialty items at Campbell's Bakery. And we were discussing the tea cakes is a specialty.
Yeah, during our break, we're pondering.
Pondering. What else are your specialties there?
Aside from our tea cakes, our next best seller would be our pedophores, which I think partly is because people really love almond extract, I have learned. I did not realize that was as popular as it was until I started working at Campbell's in 2016. But it's a really simple pedophore. I know a lot of pedophores that you see tend to be filled with jams and stuff. We don't really do that. It's just our white cake, which I think we've really nailed. It's a really good, soft, fluffy cake while maintaining its firmness. So it's not going to fall apart on you. And then it has that same, like, really simple almond glaze over the top. That's the same as the iced tea cake. And then we can decorate it however you want. Typically a little rosebud is what we do. That's kind of the traditional way to decorate it. But we offer strawberry and then caramel as well. And in the past, I've experimented. I've done a king cake pedophore that people liked, carrot cake, red velvet, chocolate.
Now, are the cakes baked individually, or is it a giant sheet pancake that you cut up to make the pedophores?
It's a 12 by 18 sheet cake. So I make about 8 of those a day, and then you're going to just, like, we trim off the little edge bits, and then everything is hand cut, which sometimes you can tell, no fault of my own.
That's a beautiful thing.
You can't look too perfect.
No.
I like to think that people see it and they're like, oh, someone hand cut this. Like, I know this was made from scratch, but sometimes I'm cutting it and I'm like, oof.
Yeah, the petit four is a French confection. I mean, that's its history. But in this country, I think of it as it's a very Southern thing, and it's Southern weddings, and it's the tea cake. Mm-hmm. And it's a kind of not really a comfort food, but it's a comfort food in a way to see it on a table at a wedding or
it's like pedophores, Jordan almonds, and
cheese straws,
deviled
and, like,
eggs,
cream cheese mints,
green mints,
and everybody. You've got your cheese straw lady. You know you're going to go to her to supply the cheese straws. You've got your, like, cream cheese mint lady, and
so y'all don't make cheese straws.
We've dabbled a little bit. We did last year over at La Brioche. Something that I'd like to take a look at. Yeah. I love them.
Too. I do too. I love them. My favorite are Martha Foose cheese straws.
Yeah,
those things. I think she calls them my cousins or my friends cheese straw or something. But anyway, they're outrageous. So is the icing? Is it dipped? Is the cake dipped into the icing, or is it spread on by hand?
It's drizzled on. Well, I shouldn't. It's more of like a cloquet. We have these huge bowls, and then we put a little layer on top for them to sit on, and then just lay them out individually. Everyone has kind of like their different tools they like to use. I have these little thin tan plates, little acrylic plates that I like to use, and I just scoop it right out of the mixing bowl and just cloak it on top. Let the excess drip off, and then just move it over to a sheet pan.
You gather all the excess and
reuse it.
And so the almond flavor is in the icing, not inside of the cake somehow?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a white cake.
It's just, gotcha. All right, well, Carol, we talked in an earlier show with Damien about the air fryer, and so I bumped into Damien the other morning at Hal Mal's. I was getting some coffee and ready for lunch, and he said, "Oh, about that air fryer? Tell him." He said, "I've gotten one," and
yeah, people were calling us. This was a couple of years ago, and we were going,
I don't know.
We're clueless. So they sent me to Walmart. And I haven't done real well with mine.
I'm so late to the party for air fryers. I recently bought one. I had my appendix out, so I thought maybe I should think about eating more healthy. And my son, who's 14, is into working out, and so he's also wanting to eat healthy. Into tallow and avocado oil and olive oil, and just really eating clean. So I bought the Kosori 9-in-1 Turbo Blaze. That was on Amazon, highly rated. And I've been using it for anything that I can think of. So I read a little bit about, the basics of it, and I think it's a really good way to cook something fast without making a mess. What I was impressed with was the results of, roasting a potato or cooking a chicken breast. It's, pretty much like you would do in the oven or in a skillet. And that's really what it's kind of like the microwave, where the microwave kind of gets a bad rap. But if you use it well, you can poach an egg in it, you can thaw something out. So I've just been impressed with the speed and, the quality results. So we did Christmas, and I made some lasagna, and then I cut it into little rectangles and turned it cut side up and just lightly brushed it with olive oil and put it onto the broil setting and got it good and crispy all over the top, so it's still tender and cheesy on the inside. I did some duck confit legs where they were cooked in advance, in duck fat with herbs, and then put them into the air fryer to reheat them and got them really, really crispy, which, as you know, duck fat and duck skin is kind of difficult to really get fully rendered, and it did really well with that. We also made some kofta. We were making burgers the other night and didn't have any buns, but we had pita. So we just made the kofta shape, the oblong rectangle shape with the beef, and threw potatoes in with it. And I think it took about 8 minutes, and we were eating.
Wow.
And then my son uses it for pretty much everything.
Well, my daughter has one, and they use it at their house a lot. And the most food I've eaten from an air fryer has come from their home. How many settings and what settings does an air fryer have? I always think of it as a convection type oven.
It's pretty much, from what I understand, just looking at the book that came with it, it's a heating element with a fan right next to it. So it's a little small box, high pressure convection oven pretty much. Mine has air fry, broil, bake, roast, thaw, proof.
Yeah, you must have a pretty fancy.
Yeah, that's a lot of settings.
Yeah, that's a lot. I was surprised at how small they are.
Mm-hmm.
When people were talking about it, I was thinking it was going to be like a microwave, like a toaster oven or something, but it's small.
It's small?
It's like the size if a food processor were squared off. I mean, that's about how much space it takes to put it in your cabinet. I've done a lot of chicken with it, and that's really the main thing.
And how do you do it?
Well, I marinate usually chicken thighs or chicken breasts, marinate them, and then just put them in there on a high setting for maybe 6 or 7 minutes and turn them and do it for 5 or 6
And how does that compare to fried chicken as we know it?
It's not. Mine are not fried.
They're not fried.
That's what I want to ask Damien. Have you done anything that's really crispy?
No, the one thing I haven't done.
Except your duck confit?
Right. I haven't done any wet wash into flour and then into the fryer. I have not done that yet, so I don't know if that would work. One thing that was really good in them was Mary Sanders' mom for Christmas always makes the traditional sausage balls.
Right.
And I put those in the air fryer on Christmas morning, and they came out beautiful. So highly recommend that. And the one that I got too, when I was looking at them, they have some that have a nonstick coating, And, I try to stay away from nonstick coatings as much as possible, but they make them now like this one with a ceramic coating. And, so you don't have to worry about chipping that nonstick coating off, as you use it. But, I think that's next on the list is to see. I haven't really looked into seeing how, like, fried chicken from scratch straight to air fryer would work. I don't know. But.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Because when I think air fryer, I think fried food. But I know it has other settings and other techniques. Nicki, have you ever used the air fryer?
We have one. I think I could probably count on one hand on how many times I've used it. My husband uses it more than I do, mostly just to reheat food.
Just to warm up stuff? Like a microwave?
Pretty much. I think I will say, I think they work better at reheating than a microwave does because it does give that crispiness instead of things getting soggy. I think it reheats French fries.
French
really
fries
well.
and fried okra, I can tell you.
And those things
really
are notoriously hard to
Indeed they are.
reheat, and they actually taste good. But really the only thing I use it for other than that is like I will get multiple croissants if I'm getting a croissant and coffee from somewhere. And in the next morning, my extras, I'll re-egg wash and pop it in there for like 3 minutes. And it really reheats a croissant.
Brings it back.
Really well.
Wow. Marissa, you're an air fryer, are you not?
I do. I have a very small air fryer. And I was going to comment on the fried situation. I tried early on to like batter and fry my own chicken, and it did not work out well. You kind of have to like drown it in some sort of like wet something, and then it like pulls out all that moisture and creates the crisp.
Wow.
But my tip is spray, like nonstick cooking spray on the top and on the bottom every time.
Wow. Well,
I did some salmon that was really good. Just cut up into nice big chunks and just, toss it with olive oil and salt and pepper and put that in, and it just got good. And put it over a salad. Just
a few minutes.
Just a few minutes, yeah. I bet this bread pudding would be good in there too.
Yeah.
Clearly I'm not utilizing mine to its fullest potential.
I
didn't expect him to like it so much.
When Malcolm ran into Damien, and Damien, they talked about that. We were really fired up. We thought, oh yeah, we got to get
we got to get an update on the air fryer.
Can do it.
I'm going to use it tonight.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you very much for being here. Deep South Dining is a production of Mississippi Public Broadcasting's Think Radio, and we are funded by the generous contributions from folks like yourself. We thank you. Our show is produced by Marissa Vaughn, and for our guests, Damien Cavicchi and Nicki Gatlin-Lovell, and my co-host, of course, Carol Palmer. I'm Malcolm White saying now, please stay tuned for At Issue up next. And we ask you to join us next Monday at 4 p.m. for more Deep South Dining, and every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for our encore. And our show is heard right here exclusively on MPB Think Radio. Have a delightful evening.